Hey, it's Comic-Con week. That's pretty exciting stuff. And Anthony is going to be covering it big time over at Comic-Con HQ. You got to be watching his show, What's News. They have a big week and weekend of content, but that means that we're not going to be putting out as many episodes as we normally do. No episode on Friday, no episode next Monday, but we're hoping to be back in action next Wednesday. In the meantime, go over to comic-con.com HQ.com and check out Anthony's coverage of Comic-Con and enjoy this episode right now.
You can't stop me from being in the community center. I'm part of the community.
This guy, you may have seen him in multi-purpose rooms all across the county.
This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
You know, I think it's been well established on this show at this point that I know nothing about fashion.
That's true. You're wearing some cargo shorts as we speak.
Yeah, because it's a day that ends in Y.
Yep.
And it's hot outside. But maybe you have heard
of the Kevin Smith Fashion Academy.
That's me, baby. I know nothing about fashion. I wish I did. I don't. I don't have that gene.
You dress well, yeah.
Or those jeans.
I was gonna say you clean up nice, but that's your wife does that for you.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
she's amazing. One of the reasons I married her to make me look good. But have you ever heard of the designer Alexander McQueen?
Yeah.
It's because I hadn't.
Oh, there's a great documentary on McQueen, dude.
Yeah,
you would love it.
He's evidently was a big deal. Died in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But one of his big what do they call them? Lines? Collections. A collection of fashions was called Jack the Ripper Stalks His Victims. That sounds delightful. But one of the things
Tell us about that collection.
Well, the pertinent bit of information about this collection. Oh, by the way, this is a story that was sent to us by Frank LaBelle.
Thanks, Frank LaBelle. I had a friend in high school whose dad's name was Frank LaBelle, and I always wonder if that's who's sending us these stories.
His dad? Maybe it is.
I wonder if it's her dad, but I doubt it. Her dad was a weird dude.
Well, this is a pretty weird story.
Hated me. Absolutely hated me. Yeah. And made his whole hobby was World War II. He was one of those guys who built
his hobby was the war.
Yeah, replica tanks. He would build them in his office, and he collected a lot of weird stuff. He's the guy from American Beauty that had the Nazi plate. You know?
Yeah.
But it wasn't all Nazi stuff. It was stuff from all of the war. He was just fascinated with World War II. It's a weird dude. The more I think about it, the more that's probably not who's sending us these stories.
I'm gonna go ahead and thank him. Thanks for sending that in, weird dude. Appreciate it. This is a weird story. So the idea is that this guy, this famous collection, he put locks of his hair in the label of the clothes in this collection. So
that's kind of cool. It's gimmicky, but it's exclusivity, right?
Right.
Charge a lot for that because it has an actual lock of the designer's hair in it.
So cut to today, a woman by the name of Tina Gorjanc has announced her own collection called the Pure Human Project. And she's filed a patent for this.
This is automatically,
trademark.
I mean, I know
no patent.
This is automatically meant to sound disturbing.
Get ready.
Pure Human Project.
So she is taking DNA from those locks of hair of this dead fashion designer, and she is planning to create skin from this DNA and then grow it, make it into leather, and turn that into clothes so that you will have clothes made from the skin of the DNA of a famous designer, Alexander McQueen. Why?
I love this.
You like this?
I love this. I feel like he would love this too.
He probably would love this, actually. But the whole point of this isn't just to make the clothes. Although she has designs of how this human skin would look, she actually has painted it to look more like human skin. It's leather jackets, leather bags, all kinds of stuff.
That's interesting. So she's not taking human skin and trying to make it look like normal leather. She's taking human skin, turning it into leather for durability, but then repainting it to look like human skin again.
She's trying to add freckles and things to make it look more like skin. Ooh. And the whole idea is to raise awareness over the fact that, guess what? It's super legal to use someone's DNA to make something against their will. This is the art project's goal. This human or pure human project.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So, yeah. So here's where it gets tricky immediately, Jeff. Here are the first things that pop into my head.
Yeah.
Well, if it's my DNA,
mm-hmm.
I should have rights to it.
You think?
So everybody should be able to have legal rights over their DNA. But wait, Jeff, does that mean if a corporation creates a specific kind of DNA,
mm-hmm.
they are able to own and patent it?
Right.
Well, yes, we already know that's true because we know that companies like Monsanto can create specific seeds and own those.
Correct.
So this is pretty. Nobody should be able to control DNA, but at the same time, I should be able to control my own DNA. And what is the slippery legal slope of that?
So this is the quote from Tina Gorjanc. She says, "If a student like me was able to patent a material extracted from Alexander McQueen's biological information, and there was no legislation to stop me, we can only imagine what big corporations with bigger funding are going to be able to do in the future."
Meanwhile, in the boardroom of a large corporation, I can't believe this student beat us to this. This can never happen again. Patent everything. Didn't I tell you that before? Patent everything. Does this patent only apply to Alexander McQueen? You, lawyer
yeah,
I hate.
Yeah.
Answer the question.
Yeah, it looks like it does.
All right. I need us to grab DNA of every famous person we can grab. And I need us to patent that DNA immediately. We have to move faster than the government on this, which means we only have 60 to 70 years to patent this DNA.
Shovels! I need shovels! Meanwhile, at the cemetery, the Hollywood cemetery.
What are all those guys in suits doing coming in here, Hank?
Looks like they're digging up the graves of famous people.
Well, now, comes to my mind that that's illegal.
Yeah.
And as soon as I'm off my break,
mm-hmm.
which is in 25 minutes because I just started,
yeah,
I'm going to get in the golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ride the golf cart over to the office.
Yep.
And I'm going to let somebody in the office know, if somebody's there, it is early, that they should call the police maybe.
I think that would be a heck of an idea, Ted. But you know, I so enjoy having our lunch here right atop the grave.
Now remember, I'm not
comedic legend Lucille Ball.
Of course, and I'm not. I don't want to interrupt our lunch. Like I said, let's take the 25 minutes we are owed.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, hey, get out of the way! Get out of the way! Oh
my goodness! Where are you? Don't you trample on the grave of comedic legend Lucille Ball.
Now, you have gone and done interrupted my sandwich time.
Yep.
And so now I am thinking about going to the office a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And letting somebody know a little faster than I would have before.
Yep. This is like that episode of I Love Lucy, where she's eating all them chocolates and can't keep up because it's so fast.
Hank, we are all familiar with that episode of I Love Lucy.
Uh-huh.
I would say that may be the only episode of I Love Lucy that people are familiar with.
Reminds me of that episode.
But how is this situation like unto that?
Well, you know how Lucy is always trying to stick them chocolates in her face, and she can't keep up with the conveyor belt of chocolates?
I am aware, yes. Like I've said, we are all aware.
And you know how we are sitting on the grave of comedic legend Lucille Ball?
Well, we were, to get technical, Hank.
Yeah.
Now we are sitting on the grave of Gallagher, who I was not aware is dead.
He's not.
Which is crazy.
Preemptive grave.
Oh, he just bought this. He bought this early.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we are unto like the chocolates.
Yeah.
On the conveyor belt. Moving hither and yon at a speed and pace that we are not accustomed to. And Lucille Ball putting us in her face are like these fellas in the suits desecrating the graves of Lucille Ball.
I can sort of see what you're saying. I would argue this analogy with you because I don't think it's entirely apt, Hank, but I'm not going to anymore because now that I know that we are sitting on the grave of a man who is not yet dead, I am sure that I will be able to finish my sandwich in peace. And so all of this becomes a moot point to me.
You know that episode of I Love Lucy when they're stamping on the grapes, trying to stamp all the grapes into wine?
Now, Hank, I will give you credit because that is another episode of I Love Lucy that we are all familiar with, and it had just fallen out of my conscious mind. Congratulations, Hank.
Oh, thank you.
Have a soda.
I appreciate it. That is not unto like Gallagher squashing a watermelon with a hammer and getting all the juice out.
Not everything needs an analogy, Hank. Enjoy your soda.
This soda is not unto like... A couple of guys working at the cemetery.
I like that they went immediately to grave robbing as opposed to like memorabilia or estate sales.
Yeah, I think that there's no doubt that, you want to sell people, Elvis jackets.
Sure.
You want to sell somebody a Kurt Cobain
Do people
tote?
want a Kurt Cobain tote
Yes.
that's actually made of Kurt Cobain, though?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Don't they? Don't you think Kim Kardashian...
This is the dumbest Socratic method anybody's ever used on me. I'm saying, like, okay, yes, I may be obsessed with Kurt Cobain. I may want... But I think if I'm obsessed with Kurt Cobain, would I want a lock of his hair the same way somebody would want an Alexander McQueen, like, lock of hair? Yeah, probably. If I'm obsessed with Kurt Cobain, then yes.
Right.
I don't necessarily want a bag made of his skin...
Well, maybe you don't.
But...
What about a guitar made of Kurt Cobain?
No! That's worse!
Strum a Bane.
Ugh.
Why not?
Ugh, that's disgusting, man. What about a nice comfy chair just made of Kurt Cobain? You just nestle on into a nice overstuffed chair made of Kurt Cobain. Just nuzzle into that Kurt Cobain chair and take a nap.
I mean, listen. If they sold a guitar made of Prince... I might buy it.
No, you wouldn't.
I might.
No, you wouldn't.
I want Prince.
You would buy a lock of Prince's hair.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I might, but I don't know. There's,
because you could cheaply, I think that's the way to go, right? Cheaply make a recreation lock of hair or something where like you can be like, oh, I have a piece of this person. I don't necessarily want like a couch that's upholstered in Prince. Like that's kind of gross, dude.
It might argue that, if I could, like, have sex on Prince, I don't know.
Now I will say that something that I think is interesting, a market that is potentially untapped, serial killers who take the skin of their victims and turn them into lampshades and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Skip the middleman. What if what they...
Skip the serial killer?
Yeah, what if what they enjoy is not the serial killing, but the crafting of the lampshade?
Ah.
In this case... You can just buy like a roll of fabric from Joann. You could go to Joann Fabrics.
You're just saying,
and buy a roll of human skin.
You're saying these guys aren't so much killers as they are just ahead of their time.
Now
they're just ahead of the science, is what they are.
Maybe I'm saying if it's not the killing that's the important part,
right?
Maybe I'm sure to some of these guys.
Well, you can't paint with a broad brush.
I'm not a criminologist,
right? Not anymore.
Not anymore. And some people would say that I never was.
Of course.
Some people would say that by showing up at these crime scenes. You
just got in the way.
In my deerstalker hat and my cape.
Right.
I was just contaminating the crime scene.
Right. Well, that's just because you licked everything.
By stomping around, licking everything, pointing and yelling and screaming, you're the murderer.
Right.
Mostly at uniformed police officers.
Yes.
Because listen, man, we all know that the murderer goes back to the scene of the crime, and we all know that cops are probably crooked. It's always a crooked cop.
It's always the person you least expect, and who would you least expect but the cop investigating the crime?
Now, I walked out of Kiss the Girls, but I'm pretty sure Cary Elwes wound up being the murderer.
Yeah.
And he was the nice FBI agent.
As
he was
you
the one
wish.
that we liked.
As you wish.
Right? So, based on that.
Yes.
And the movie Infernal Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that it's usually a cop that did it.
Yeah.
So I think my criminal logic was pretty sound.
Underestimated, certainly.
Now, what I will say is I did not understand when to use the word enhance. I've watched a lot of crime shows.
You know what, though? Err on the side of using it more.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
I'd be at a crime scene and I'd be on my hands and knees in the blood.
Yeah.
Which, is that wrong? I don't know. Probably not, though. In the blood, like kind of with my eyes squinted and like looking at a hair, a human hair that could be a clue, and I'd be like, enhance!
Yeah.
Enhance!
Yeah. And you know what they never did?
They never did, and if they had...
They never enhanced.
Maybe we would have solved the case. Some people would say that maybe we would have solved the case if I had played in all the blood.
Some people.
But I don't know.
Like the judge.
Sure.
In the case later.
But I think criminologists outrank judges. But once again, I don't know a lot about the legal system. But no, if these serial killers are mostly into the crafting out of human skin, which I think some of them might be, this could potentially dissuade them from killing, because then you can have whole, like, not just like human skin, all the human skin you want, but you could have it in huge, like, fabric rolls of human skin.
Yeah.
You could have large uncut sheets of human skin that you weren't able to have before. Think about all the textiles that you would be able to make.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't just have to be clothes. It could be all kinds of textiles. You could have Fred Astaire carpeting, you know?
Wall to wall.
Wall to wall.
Wall to wall Fred.
Dance on Fred.
I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
Just dancing on his skin.
It would be amazing.
Wallpaper?
Yeah, Frank Sinatra wallpaper would be amazing.
Frank Sinatra everything.
You know what? I decorated this house my way. That's what I did.
You said Frank Sinatra and I sang a Fred Astaire song.
That's all right.
And I think I don't know why I did that. I heard Fred Astaire.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. It's not okay. I feel really, really bad about it.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Who would you...
God damn it!
Who would you
No
choose?
one!
No one?
No one!
I don't know, man. I might print
one!
I might print up my whole house.
Now, if you could use somebody's DNA to give me skin that was more like their skin. Think
like
about this.
Silky smooth.
Like beautiful skin. Beautiful, perfect skin. You could just inject me with some of their DNA or stem cells or something, and then all of a sudden, instead of my skin, I could have like
beautiful Idris Elba skin or something.
Yeah, like beautiful, just beautiful, like unblemished, unwrinkled, childlike skin.
Yeah.
I would do that. Do I want a bag made of somebody? No, Jeff Canada, that's fucking weird.
But then I feel like you're not going for famous people so much as you're going for like just babies. You just want baby skin.
Yeah, I want somebody to bring me all of the baby skin to use for myself.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing. I don't even think human skin is that great a fabric. I don't know much about it. I would think that cowhide is thicker.
Probably, but is thickness really the only trait in fabric that you're looking for?
I think it makes up a huge portion of the durability. Is the thickness.
Well, sure, but I'm not always looking for durability. I like breathability. I like comfort. I want a breathable human skin.
Well, human skin is pretty breathable, but so is cow skin until you tan it and turn it into leather.
Right. Well, I don't have to leather all the human skin. I mean, if I'm gonna use like a nice Bowie, like I'm gonna get like a nice Bowie, shirt.
Sure.
I don't necessarily want it to be all leathery and thick. I want like a nice breathable Bowie.
But there's no way to turn it into any other fabric other than leather.
I guess. I gotta get on that. Let's get our top men on that.
To make a synthetic Bowie fabric that's breathable? I want to wear David Bowie's skin and go jogging and have it wick away moisture.
Exactly.
That's all. I want performance Bowie.
Is that too much to ask?
And let me tell you something. We always got performance Bowie.
We did.
Always.
Yeah, well, he was alive. And the least we can do now that he's dead is to have performance Bowie forever. It's the least we can do.
Someone over at Nike is listening to this and just taking notes. Just taking notes like, this is how we make it work.
Yeah.
That's a great campaign.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Have like...
You would wear a piece of a human?
If it's Prince.
Really? What would be your optimal Prince thing? Would it be a bag? Would it be a shirt? Would it be Prince leather pants? That makes a lot of sense.
Problem about Prince is that everything would be in size small.
Child size.
It doesn't.
You can only buy Prince stuff in the juniors department.
It sucks. Such a bummer. I would legitimately probably, if they made a guitar out of Prince's DNA, I'd probably buy that. I'm not even joking.
Number one, that's a fabric guitar, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's so,
Yeah.
No, I hate it. I love the idea of this. I love the idea of making specific products that use this stuff. I think that's fascinating. But no, not to wear. I'm not going to Buffalo Bill somebody that I love. It's early.
Yeah.
It's early in my life. Who knows what'll be the snapping point? I could wind up Buffalo Billing everyone I love.
Yeah.
If it's going to be one of the two of us, I think it's probably going to be me.
That's a good point.
If we're going to be realistic about it. Which one of us is more likely to snap and Buffalo Bill everyone they love?
Well, Buffalo Billing, implies some sort of violent act. This is not a violent act. This is a scientific act.
No, I understand what it implies, Jeff. And I'm saying out of the two of us,
well, yeah.
I am more likely to Buffalo Bill somebody.
That's true.
Would you guys wear a suit or some sort of fabric
if we
carry a bag made of the skin of a celebrity that you love? If so, what would you want it to be? And who would you want it to be made out of?
Yeah, those are great questions. Also, if we happen to put up a Jeff and Anthony tote in this We Have Concerns store.
No one gets my DNA.
By equal parts of our DNA.
No.
It's
no. How much are we charging for it?
I think we could get a bargain.
All right, we'll talk. Let us know if you want it. In the meantime, there are other things that you can get from. You can hashtag those, by the way. Performance Bowie.
Performance Bowie, and tell us what qualities the Jeff and Anthony tote bag would have.
I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Ganata.
And by the way, while we don't sell merchandise made of our very DNA yet, we do sell merchandise that I would say represent the show's brand DNA. T-shirts, hats, mugs, soon prints, and other things. Not prints.
Oh, I was so excited for a second.
No, the kind that you hang on your wall, which technically I guess could also be prints.
Oh, a print of Prince? Prince made of Prince? Oh, man.
WeHaveConcerns.com/shop.